Everyone, good morning. So please confirm whether you guys are able to hear my voice or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is anyone joining this for the first time? Have you attended my previous sessions in the last week?
No, first time is this.
No.
First time, sir.
Okay. Okay, yes. So this session is AWS plus DevOps. Okay. So far we have discussed in our last sessions just the basics about what we are going to cover as part of this course and what are the tools that will be covered and what are the prerequisites. So only those topics we have discussed and we haven't started the actual content. Okay. So we just finished about how to create an AWS account. So in order to continue in this AWS and DevOps, so it is mandatory to have an AWS session, AWS account. So where we are going to launch our tools, where we are going to launch our instances in AWS cloud, as well as we are going to launch our tools. Okay. So I have already discussed about how to create an AWS account. It is free of cost. Anyone can create the AWS account. We no need to pay anything
So,
for that.
sir, we did not attend the first season, sir. This is our first season.
Okay. Okay, so I will explain once again how to create an AWS account. So as soon as the session is over, so please do it immediately. So it will take 24 to 48 hours in order to activate your account. Okay, so if you fail to activate your account, so if we continue our classes, then you may miss the practicals. Okay, so whatever we have discussed theoretically, the same thing has to be practiced in the cloud. So this is AWS plus DevOps. So as part of this first, so we will be covering AWS. Okay. On top of it, we will be launching our instances, AWS, and then we are launching our Linux instances. These are Linux instances, guys. Okay. Linux. These are Linux machines. Okay. On top of it, okay. So this DevOps. Okay. So as part of this course, so first we will be discussing about AWS Essentials. In order to become a DevOps engineer, so whatever the AWS knowledge is required, so those topics we will be covering as part of this session. And that is the first step. So once the AWS basics and AWS essentials are completed, so then we will be moving towards Linux. Okay, so we are not learning in-depth knowledge about Linux. I mean, we are not going to become an administrator level, right? So whatever the commands that are frequently used in any real-time project, how much amount of Linux knowledge is required in order to become a DevOps engineer. So those details will be discussed as part of Linux also. Okay, so first AWS and then Linux. So once we are good with these two things, then we will be moving towards DevOps. So what is DevOps? What are the different tools that will be covered and that will be used, and what different options that are available in the market for each category. Okay, so what is Jenkins, what is continuous integration, what is continuous development, what is Kubernetes, what is Ansible, what is Puppet, what is Nagios. So these are the list of tools that will be used as part of DevOps. Okay, so if anyone wants to become a DevOps engineer, it is mandatory to learn so those tools. Okay, so once the tools are covered, so then we will be moving towards one real-time project. There I will explain how these real-time tools will be used in and out in daily routines. Okay, so briefly, this is about our course. Any doubts, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, so shall I move on to next?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now AWS is our first session. So as most of you know that, so AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. So that is nothing but so one of the cloud service providers. So Amazon is providing the cloud services, and that service name is AWS. So similarly in the market, so there are a lot of cloud service providers are available, like GCP, Google Cloud Platform. So that is also one of the cloud services that is offered by Google company. Okay, so Azure is also one of the cloud service. So that is offered by Microsoft. OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So that is also one of the cloud services provided by Oracle company. So like this in the market, so there are different companies are there, and all those companies are providing the cloud services. So just like, so everyone will be using the mobiles. Okay, if you are using Realme mobiles, and if you are using Apple mobiles, and if you are using Samsung mobiles, but so all these mobiles are serving the same purpose only. But so these mobiles are manufactured by different companies. In the same way, AWS, Azure, GCP, OCI, Alibaba, all these are different clouds. And these clouds are offered by different companies. But at the end of the day, all these clouds are providing the same functionalities. There might be little bit differences, 5 to 10% differences are there from one company to other company, but more or less every cloud services are same. Okay, so then why we are learning AWS first, only AWS, why not we learning go for GCP? So the answer is, nowadays most of the companies, if you take 100% as a market share, out of 100%, more than 50% of the share is occupied by AWS only. That means out of 100 companies, more than 50 plus companies are using AWS cloud only. So if we learn AWS cloud, so obviously there are more number of companies are using it. So obviously more number of jobs are available on AWS only. So that is the reason we are starting with AWS only. So once you are good with any cloud, not only AWS, you may start with Azure also. So, but if you become master in Azure, then it won't take much time to become master in AWS. Because if you know how to use your Samsung mobile, so don't you know how to operate a Realme or Redmi mobile? It is easy, right?
Yes, it is easy.
So, but the only thing is you might feel little bit differences about the GA. The look and feel might be different. At the end of the day, if you want to call someone from a Samsung mobile, you know how to call from a Realme or Apple mobile also, right? But the only thing is you may feel like, so the way how it look like, the front end GA little bit different. But at the end of the day, the functionality is same. In the same way, if you become master in one cloud, so then it doesn't take much time to become in another cloud. So it might be a little bit changes, like naming conventions will be different, the navigation will be different. Only those changes you can observe. But other than that, the functionality is same. Okay, yeah, so that is the reason. So whenever if you want to learn something, so it is better to learn which will be used by more number of companies. So if it is used by more number of companies, obviously the number of job openings are more on that tool only. Okay, so that is the reason we are starting our cloud with AWS only. Any questions, guys, as of now?
No, sir.
No. Yeah, So AWS. So what is cloud, guys? Okay. So cloud is nothing but a virtual thing, guys. So which you cannot feel physically, but that is existing in the nature. So that you call it as a cloud. So if you go for a definition. Okay. So cloud computing is nothing but getting the resources or accessing the resources through internet is called cloud services. For example, if you want to store any files, Google Drive is one of the cloud service, guys. Okay, everybody will be using that. So whoever is having Gmail account, so those people are using Google Gmail accounts. So in the Gmail account, as part of Gmail account, Google account, so they are providing one service called Google Drive. So whoever have access, whoever is having a Google account, so they can store the files in the Google Drive. Okay, you are not physically having any drive, you are not physically having any laptop in your hand, but that drive is existing and you can able to store any files into the drive. Okay, so once the files are stored in the drive, you can access those files from wherever you are, whether you might be having a mobile in your hand, whether you might be having a laptop in your hand, whether you are in India or whether you are in USA or whether you are in Australia. But only thing, if you have a internet connectivity along with any device, okay, can be laptop, can be mobile, can be iPad, can be anything. So if you have a internet connectivity and any computing device, then you can access your files from the Google Drive. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Come on, guys, you guys are following or not?
Yes, sir. We are following.
Yeah, so if you have internet connectivity along with one device, so you can access the files that you have stored in the Google Drive. But are you feeling, can you able to see that Google Drive physically?
No.
No,
No,
but
sir.
you can access the files through internet. So
Yes.
here, Google Drive is a storage service. You can only store the files and retrieve the files. Yes or no? You can add whatever the files you want to, and you can delete if you feel like those files are not useful, then you can delete those files. So all that we call it as a storage service, and that storage service can be accessible through internet. Okay, so Google Drive is one of the cloud storage service. In the same way, AWS is also providing a number of services. Here, Google Drive is only storage service. Like that, there are different services are there. More than 60 plus services are there. Okay, so all those services can be accessible through internet. It can be a laptop, it can be a RAM, it can be a operating system, it can be a storage, it can be a CloudWatch, it can be a Nagios. All these are list of services that are offered by AWS. As per the company needs, whatever the service they want to utilize, okay, they can pay some money to AWS and they can utilize that service through internet. So that is the reason those services are called as cloud services. Got some clarity?
Yes, sir.
So if you relate it to Google Drive example, if you want to store some 15 GB of files, okay, you have to buy one hard disk or one pen drive or one memory card. Okay, so if you take an example of pen drive for 15 GB or 16 GB, it might cost more than 3,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees. Okay, but you don't have that money. Okay, and there are two problems, guys. If you go with pen drive approach or memory card approach, the one thing is you have to pay some money for that pen drive. Okay, so by any chance, because of some water or fire or because of any physical damage, if something happens, all the data which is available in the pen drive will be erased. Yes or no? So once it is erased, you don't have any option to get it back. That is one problem. And the second thing is cost. The pen drive cost is more. Not everyone can afford it. That is the second problem. And the third problem is, so whenever you want to access the files, Okay, definitely you should have a laptop only. You cannot access the files from pen drive through mobile. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You cannot access through pen drive from mobile, right? Maybe there are some connectors are there. You can connect with the help of some connectors and all those extra infrastructure. You can access the pen drive through mobile also. That facility is there. But in ideal case, can you with your 9,000 or 10,000 rupees mobile worth of mobile and 4,000 rupees worth of pen drive, can you access these two without having any additional resources? The answer is no. And one more thing. So wherever you go, you have to carry your pen drive. If you want to access those files, today you are in Hyderabad, you want to access the files, you have to be with your pen drive. That have to be handy. And tomorrow you are going to Vizag. There also you want to access your files. If you don't have your pen drive in your hand, can you access your files?
No.
No. Yes. So that is the one more drawback. But now, in order to overcome those problems, we have come up with the cloud approach. That is nothing but Google Drive. In our example, storage services offered by Google account. That is nothing but Google Drive is the storage service that is in cloud. All these three problems are overcome by this approach or not? One is first thing. If you have a Google account, you don't need to pay any money to Google. Yes or no?
Yes.
And by default, they will be giving you 15 GB of data. If you want to use more than 15 GB, then you have to pay. But for the first 15 GB, it will not charge any rupee. Okay, so it is free of cost up to 15 GB. And the third thing, are you carrying any pen drives or anything?
No.
Sir.
Just there is a if a computer or any mobile is there, then you can log in with username and password and you can access those files. So all these three problems are overcome with this approach or not? The only thing is you should have a proper internet connection. So nowadays internet, everyone will be having the internet connection. That is not a luxury thing. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So these are the advantages of cloud. I just taken one simple example to make you understand all about what is cloud and what is without cloud. Hope now you are able to you can able to understand without cloud what is possible and with cloud what is possible. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
yes, sir.
So in order to access the cloud services, we have to open, from AWS, we have to open one AWS account. Okay. So, but when it comes to the companies will take paid membership. So whenever you install any trial version of software, you will not be given full access. Yes or no? So you are downloading one famous software, guys. Okay. So whenever you are downloading any famous software, can you able to access all the services from 0 to 100 level?
No, sir.
No.
The answer is no. They will give you what their intention is. They want you to know these are the services are offered by our company. You can have a look at all those services. Okay. So you can feel each and every service, but they will not give you 100%. If you go to one shopping mall and you tried one shirt, so they will give you to have a trial of that shirt, but it doesn't mean you can completely feel like you are the owner of that shirt, right? In the same way, whenever you are opening any free accounts, there will be, you can access all the services, but up to some level only. Okay, in order to learn the services, that account is enough. You don't need to pay any money. If you want to use from 0 to 100%, then they will charge you. If you use those services for 10 minutes, for only those 10 minutes, they will charge you. There are 100 services are there. Out of 100 services, you are using one service for 1 minute. Then only for that one service and for that 1 minute only, you have to pay. Okay, all these cloud services are pay as you use. They will follow this approach only. Like our internet. So if we use our internet for 2 minutes, the data will be consumed only for 2 minutes. In the same way, AWS also charged like that. So, okay. So why they are giving that free tier account is so students or individuals, whoever wants to learn AWS, so they can open a free tier account and they can use it for 1 year of period. After one year, so your account will be disabled. Otherwise, you have to pay the money. Then only you can use that services. Okay, but when it comes to the companies, they will not create any free tier account. On the name of company, they will create one account and they will pay to the AWS based on the services they have used. Okay, as here we are students and individuals, so it is more than enough to have a free tier account. So, but in order to create your free tier account, it is mandatory to have a credit card or debit card. Okay, so that why they will take your credit card and debit card addresses. So they want to ensure that you are not an unauthorized user. Okay, so in order to do that, in order to eliminate fake accounts and all those things, so they will take your debit card or credit card and they will deduct 2 rupees. Okay, so once that is done, your account will be activated and they will refund that 2 rupees back to your account also. Okay, so at the end of the day, they are not charging any paisa from your account. It is free of cost. Okay, so now let me show you how to create a free tier account. Okay. Yeah. So just open Google, guys, and in Google just type AWS free tier account. Okay. So open the first link, guys. Amazon Web Services get a free tier account. Okay. Here you can see the option called create a free tier account. Guys, can you able to see this? Okay. Click on create a free account. So here, if you are already having, if you have already created a free tier account, then you can give your username and click on next, and then it will ask you for the password, and you can enter the password and then captcha, then you can able to log into AWS account. Here, if you don't have any account, then click on create a new AWS account. Okay, so here, root user email address used for account recovery and some administrative functions, and AWS account name. This is nothing but your complete email address, guys. So whatever the email address you are going to use for your AWS account, that you have to give. So here, vinay.wn10@gmail.com. This is my email ID. I have given that. And account name. Instead of whenever you want to log into your account, you can have a complete email address or you can give an alias name. Okay, so like just Vinay 1234. So after that, click on verify email address. Okay, and once that is done, so you will get a confirmation email from AWS to your personal email ID. So whatever you have provided in the previous step, to that email you will get one confirmation email. You have to get the verification code. Okay. So as I am already having this account, so what it will show is, so I just verified in my mobile, guys. Okay. So AWS account already exists. Thank you for starting the new AWS account creation process. It appears that you have already have an account with us. So if you have already have an account, it will show that message. Otherwise, just like an OTP, it will send you one verification code. So you have to that verification code, you have to enter. Once you enter, then it will ask you for some details like this. Let me show you that screen. Okay. So go to images. Okay, anyone wants to share your email ID, guys? So on your email ID, I will try to create so that you can able to see that screen.
So morning I have created, so is it
Okay.
okay?
No, no. If you have already given your email ID and password, so then it will not ask us for verification code, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So once you have given, so yeah. So you can able to see here, right? So once you click on submitting your verification code, it will ask for some payment details, guys.
Sir, is it okay to take professional, sir? I clicked on professional.
Anything would be fine. As long as you have selected AWS free tier account, so it is okay. One second. Yeah. Yeah, guys. So here, after that, it will ask you for some. Everyone can able to see this page, guys.
Yes, sir.
So once you enter your verification code and click on verify, it will take you to the payment page. So here you have to give your credit or debit card number and expiry date and card name and all those things. And here you have to, if you want to use your address, use a new address. Okay. You can enter your address, and if you have PAN, you can enter PAN, and after that you can submit secure submit. So once you click on secure submit, it will take 2 rupees from your card. Whatever the details you have provided, it will take 2 rupees from that card. Okay. So once that is done, you will get a confirmation email saying we have received 2 rupees from your account, and your account will be activated within 24 to 48 hours. So if you did not receive any confirmation email after 24 to 48 hours, so please contact to AWS support team. Okay, they will give you one toll-free number. So it's not like our customer care thing. Okay, so as soon as you call that customer care, so a customer care representative will be available to assist you on your account. Okay, so please create your AWS account and be ready with that. Okay, so once you have done with creation of your AWS account, now as I have already created, I have my account, right? So now we'll see AWS Twitter account. So is this clear, guys? So it's same as how to create your Facebook account, guys. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Come on,
sir.
guys. You
Understood.
guys are very
Understood,
dull,
sir.
and I mean, so my classes are boring, or you guys are naturally like that only?
No, sir.
Are you guys able to
Understood,
follow
sir.
me or not?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
We are
sir.
following you, sir.
See, one thing, guys. So if you are active and like be responsive in the classroom, then it will give some energy to add some topics. So otherwise, I will explain just like that only. I'm telling you frankly. So if you're not active in the classroom, then it will not. It will down my morale, right? So then I don't have any interest to teach some extra stuff.
No, sir. We are following you.
Okay, so please be respond in the chat box and respond. So that is the reason I did not mute everyone. So generally people will mute everyone because in the class if they ask any question, so it will doesn't look good. So that is the reason most of the trainers will mute everyone. They will only allow through chat box only. Okay, so but here I am giving that flexibility to ask any questions, whatever you have. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
creating an AWS free tier account is nothing but creating a Facebook account. So is anyone teaching you how to create a Facebook account?
No, sir. It is easy only.
No,
It
sir.
is the same thing in AWS free tier account is also same. Click on free tier account creation and give the details and click on submit. That's it. So Google account, Amazon account, or Tinder account, so whatever account you take. So it is very easy. All they request is your identification information, like what is your email ID and what is the credit card you are using. So these most other social networking things, they will not ask you for your payment related things because they are free only. But when it comes to AWS kind of things, these are paid services. So that is the reason, in order to make sure you are not a robot or you are not misusing the account. So they will take your information. That is the only thing. Okay, so please create your AWS account. Yeah,
Okay,
so
sir.
as I have already created, it is there. So once here, sign in, click on sign in. Okay, so here root user and IAM user. So root user is nothing but, guys, so let's say you are joining a company called Oracle. Okay, so whenever Oracle wants to use the services, so Oracle is not going to create an AWS account for each user. Okay, they will take an account for Oracle. So that is nothing but root. In that root, they will create different users. One user is called as one employee. Here, root user is nothing but Oracle. In that Oracle, again, they will create different users. Those users are called IAM users. I will tell you one more example. So everybody is having laptop, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once you have logged in,
Yes, sir.
you will log in under one username called, let's say if your name is Harika, you will use Harika as the username. So can't I log in with another username called Vinay in the same laptop?
Yes, sir.
So in the laptop, basically, mostly you might find two type of users. One is guest and the second one is actual user. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
whenever you want to give your laptop to somebody and they want to use, will you unlock your laptop and give it to them in your absence?
No.
No, sir.
Because they may look the files that are only, I mean, whatever your personal files are there, just out of curiosity and enthusiasm, they may oversee your files. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you don't want to disclose your secret. So what you will do, either you can deny that giving your laptop, or else still, if you don't want to break your
Yes.
relationship with the people, so what you will do, you will create another username called guest username and you will give it to them so that they can use your laptop, but they cannot access your files. Those files are only specific to you only. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, but here laptop is only one, but there are different users are there. Different users will have different views. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
In the same way, here root user is nothing but your laptop kind of thing. IAM users are nothing but different users. Got the clarity?
Yes.
So, so here, what is our root user, guys? Here we are individuals only, right? So my email ID is this, and I just entered. So password. Okay, yeah. So once you open your AWS account, so you will see this one. So this is your home screen. Okay, different people will have different home screens based on their usage. Okay, welcome to AWS console home. This is the home page, guys. Okay, so these are the list of services. If you click here, see, these are the list of services. Okay, like this, different services are there. You can use whatever the services you want. Okay, so these are the services, guys, all the services. Okay, So there are more than 60 plus services are there. Okay, so it is not required to learn all the 60 services. So if you want to learn all the 60 services, it will take more than 1 to 2 years of time. So by then they may add another 2 to 3 services. So if your final goal is to learn all the services from AWS, so then that will be a very long process. Okay, so that is the reason whatever the services we use in our company, so it is requested and it is advised to learn those only. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see one of the service called EC2. Okay, EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, so elastic means flexible, elasticity, flexible.
Yes, sir.
So that means you can increase or decrease, you can maximize or you can minimize. Computing means nothing but your machine. Okay, compute is nothing but a computer. In short form, we are calling it as compute in EC2. So we are accessing this through internet, through cloud. So that is the reason we are calling it as cloud, Elastic Compute Cloud. Instead of calling ECC, we are calling it as EC2. Here, so what we will do is, guys, you have one laptop at your home. Okay, you want to launch one web server. Okay, for your website, you have built one website and you have to deploy that website in one of the hosting center. In order to do that, you want to have one web server. Okay, but your laptop is having very less configuration and you don't have enough money to buy one more laptop in order to use that laptop as one of the web server. Okay, so in that case, what you will do is, whatever the hardware you want and whatever the RAM, how much amount of RAM you need, okay, and what is the operating system you want to have, and how many number of CPU cores you want. Okay, with this configuration, I mean with these details, you will launch, okay, one web server in AWS hosting center. Getting my point or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are not physically buying a laptop in order to make it as a web server. Instead of that, what you are doing is, you are giving these instructions to this AWS. Hey AWS, I want this OS, I want these many GB of RAM, I want these many number of cores, I want my hard disk capacity as 5 TB. With all these details, please set up one machine at your region. So that what they will do is, so they will assemble with the requested configuration and they will make one device ready at AWS center. Okay, but you are not physically seeing that machine, but that machine is there at AWS center. Okay, how will you access that? Through internet. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so that kind of service is called as EC2 service. Okay,
Got
so
it.
how will
Got
you
it.
access that web server? You will log into your laptop only, your laptop or any device. Okay, from your device to, you will connect, you will establish one connection from your machine to that machine which is available at AWS location, so that that web server, that laptop screen will be shared on your screen. Screen sharing, nothing but a screen sharing. If I give control to you guys, can you able to access my laptop or not now?
Yes, sir. We can.
You can, but are you really feeling my laptop physically?
No.
No, but my laptop is there or not?
Yes, it is
My
there.
laptop is there, but you are not holding it physically. But if I give you the access, you can do whatever you want in my laptop. You can feel it as your laptop only, and you can install, you can download, you can delete, whatever with your personal laptop, whatever you can do with it. The same things can be done with the remote access. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So it
Correct.
doesn't mean the laptop is not existing. So it means the laptop is existing at AWS location and you are accessing them through internet connectivity. So in this case, we are accessing one machine through cloud, through internet. That machine is called as an instance. Okay. And this service is called as an EC2 service. Is this clear for everyone?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yeah. So EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. In this service, what we can do is we can launch whatever the machine and whatever the service, whatever the server we want with the requested configuration. So once that is done, so a machine will be available at AWS region. Okay. And that machine can be accessible through internet. Okay. So here in AWS, guys, all over the world. So since you are not physically feeling that machine, but that configuration is available in one of the place. Okay. Those places we call it as AWS regions. Okay. Like that, more than 23 regions are there, guys, all over the world. AWS infrastructure is available all over the world across more than 23 regions. Okay. So you can launch your machine in any of the region. So just because you are in Hyderabad, so whatever the nearest region is there to Hyderabad, that is nothing but a Mumbai. So you are not only allowed to launch an instance only in Mumbai region just because it is nearer to your physical location. You can launch anywhere in the globe. Okay. So here you have to choose the region. So now I want to choose the region called Sydney. Okay. So here you can see now we are mapped to the region called Sydney. Now if we request to AWS to create an EC2 instance, that laptop or that server or that machine will be launched. That machine will be created at Sydney location. Okay. So in order to launch a computer or anything is same, guys, everything is same. You can call it as a computer. You may call it as a laptop. You may call it as a desktop. You may call it as a server. All are same. All are machines only at the end of the day. But based on the functionality and based on the purpose we are using, we call it as a server or we call it as a machine. Okay. So if you call one laptop as a server, do you feel any difference between a server to a laptop? First of all, it is a laptop only. But for which purpose you are using and what operating system you have installed, based on that, it will be called as a server. In simple example, we all are human beings only at the end of the day. Okay. So by nature, we are categorized as males and females. Yes or no? But at the end of the day,
Yes,
everyone is a human being only. In the same way, everything is a machine. But based on the what operating system we have used and what kind of packages we have installed in that machine. So based on that, we may call it as a web server. We may call it as a database server. Okay. So don't get confused with the word called server and the machine. First, everything is a machine. And based on the usage of that machine, we may call it as a web server or database server or with some other name also. Okay. So, but every operating system, every machine or every laptop or every server contains three basic components. What are those three basic components, guys? The first thing is operating system.
Yes.
Okay. System. And the second thing is
CPU.
Processor. And the number of cores. Yes or no? 2 cores or 3 cores, quad core, dual core, octa core, processor plus cores. And the third thing is
RAM.
And the fourth thing is storage, EBS, elastic block storage. In the storage, there are two types of storages are available, guys. Okay. One is EBS and the second one is object storage. I would say Google service, Google Drive and your pen drive is a object storage, so that you can store only objects. Your C drive, it is an EBS, elastic block storage. Okay. So what is the difference? In the object storage or block storage, you can store only files. in the EBS, you can store files along with some additional features also. What are those additional features? That space allows you to install any applications. Okay. But in the object storage, it will not allow you to install any application. In the Google Drive, can you install any application, guys?
No, sir.
No, you cannot install any application. All you can do is you can store videos or files, MP3s, all those documents you can store. But if you want to install any application and you can use it, even though the application size is only 100 MB, whereas you are having 15 GB of free space, can you install that application? No, you can only store that file only. But in the C drive, you can install the application. And also you can store the files. Okay, so this storage is called as EBS. Only if you can only store the applications, I mean only store the files, then that is called as object storage.
EBS.
Sorry? Okay.
EBS.
Actually, we have discussed all these things along with what are the different types of operating systems are available. That in the world, only two kind of operating systems are available, guys. Okay, so one is Windows and the second one is Unix. Okay,
Yes,
so
Linux.
Windows is not an open source. So Windows is proprietary to only Microsoft. So only Microsoft people have all the rights. So if anyone wants to use Microsoft operating system, I mean, we all are using only Windows operating system. So if we want to use Windows operating system, we have to pay some money to Microsoft. Otherwise, we are not allowed to use. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I'm not talking about the pirated one kind of operating systems. Everybody will be using Windows operating system without paying any money to Microsoft, but that's not the case. So whenever you purchase any laptop, so by default, the laptop manufacturer have taken default operating system as Windows and they are paying some money. After that, it will get expired and still we will be using the expired one only. So that is the reason if there are any problems arises in our laptop, we don't have any right to raise to Microsoft. Hey, Microsoft, I am using your operating system and now I have got some errors. So please pitch in and help and resolve those errors. Did we ever contacted Microsoft if we raise any issues in our operating system?
No, sir.
No, why? Because we don't have any rights. We haven't paid any money to them. So if we call them and ask them like, okay, I'm using your ID and your operating system and there are some issues, first they will ask your identification details. Okay, tell me your ID and what is your license number. And if we say like we don't have any license, then they will file a case against us. So that is free. That is not having any features. What we will do if there are any issues arises, simply we will reboot our machine. Okay, but when it comes to companies, they will take the license from the Microsoft. Okay, because they are building large applications, and in order to large applications, there shouldn't be any errors in the operating system. Okay, so that is the reason they will pay money and they will take the paid version. They will take the licenses. If there are any issues arises in the operating system, then the Microsoft is responsible for those errors. Okay, so here Microsoft Windows is a proprietary operating system. That is not a open source. That is not a open source means it is not free and the source code is not available for anyone. They will not give you the source code in order to develop that Windows operating system. How many number of lines of code is written and what is that code? That information is not given to anyone in the world except the Microsoft. And there is one more operating system called Unix. Okay, Unix is an open source operating system. Open source means the source code is available for everyone. Even you can go to Unix website and you can download the source code of Unix. Okay, so that is open for everyone. You can take that source code and you can add your own changes. How you want to be your own operating system. You no need to write the code from scratch. You can take the already available operating system called Unix and you can take that code and you can modify it and you can install on your machine. Okay, so that is open source. There is a guy called Linus Torvald. Okay, his name is Linus Torvald. What that guy has done is he has taken the source code from Unix and he has applied his own changes and he named it as Linux. In the same way, HP company is also taken the source code from Unix and they made their own changes and they made it as HPX. In the same way, Solaris is also one of the company. So they have taken the source code, okay, and they made their own changes and they call it as Solaris OS. Out of these, only whatever the version, whatever the changes made by Linus Torvald, that we call it as Linux, and that is also open source. Okay, Unix made it as open source. After that, this guy has taken and applied his own changes and he named it as Linux and he made it as open source so that anyone can download the Linux source code also. Anyone can see what Linus made the changes, what kind of changes made by Linus Torvald. Okay, so anyone can make the changes to the version which is made by Linus Torvald. But the HP and Solaris and these versions are again paid versions. Only those company people can use that version. And if anyone wants to use the version which is made by HP, and they have to pay money to HP. Those are also proprietary. Those are not open source. Here, whatever the versions that are applied in Unix source code, these versions are called as flavors of Unix. All these are, the root is Unix only, but everyone made their own changes. So these are called flavors, different flavors of Unix. After that, the Linux is also open source, right? The Linux is taken by different people, guys. Centos. Okay, community of enterprise OS. Centos is one of the operating system. Red Hat OS. You might have it, Red Hat OS. You might have heard Ubuntu. So all these are operating systems only. So all these operating systems are taken from Linux. The source code is taken from Linux. The source code of Linux. And on top of it, somebody has applied their own changes and they named it as CentOS. And somebody has applied their own changes, then they named it as Ubuntu. All these versions are called as flavors of Linux. Because for this, the base is Linux. And whatever the versions that are made out of this Linux, these are called flavors of Linux. Okay, so these are the different type of operating systems. So you must know what is the difference between Linux and OS, and that is the reason I have explained all these things. But in order to launch your EC2 instance, these things are not necessary, but it is good to know information. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see how to launch a machine with Windows operating system, and also we will be discussing how to launch a Linux operating system machine. Okay, so please be ready with your AWS account, and tomorrow onwards we'll start our sessions. Okay, do not miss any sessions from tomorrow onwards, and I will not encourage anyone to miss the sessions and explain those things and again in the classroom. So why? Because somebody are following classes regularly. So if I keep on explaining the previous class sessions, and these guys will feel bored and they will stop attending the sessions. So I don't want to have that kind of situation. So please be regular and attend the classes. Okay, so far any doubts, guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so tomorrow I will explain how to launch an EC2 instance with Windows operating system and how to access that machine. So all these things we will discuss from tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay, yeah. Okay, guys, take care.